Hello, everybody. Hold on. Let's get this adjusted first. All right. Okay. So, we are live now. Okay. So, as you guys know, excuse me, I always am late when setting up. I'm never on time like I need to be. So, the computer goes live on Instagram and YouTube first before it goes live on Anchor. So, I'm always like a minute delayed. So, please don't mind me. So anyway, hello and welcome to another episode of Pure Sessions. We are live on IG Live and YouTube. And you can find me and watch these videos live every Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on YouTube under Lana and Pure and on IG Live at Lana and Pure's Corner. Same picture, same name, so you can be able to find me. And also the audio version, in a way, of the podcast. And it's on Anchor. So it's live on Anchor at 6, and then it gets distributed to, Spotify, Apple, Google Play, all the other fun jazz. So, yeah. So I hope everybody's Valentine's Day was, what it was. If you listen to um, my last week's episode, I kind of, you know, gave about maybe like a little bit more than my 2 cents on how I felt Valentine's Day, whether it's good, whether it's bad, whether it's indifferent. And I said even throughout the whole episode, don't don't listen to this episode, or at least skip to the end, skip past the end, because I kind of like, I guess, kind of gave my little more than 2 cents. So I'm like, if you guys are in love, you guys are having plans and doing, the whole couple thing, then this episode isn't for you. So yeah, so it's a new week, it's a new day. I can't believe it's already Sunday. I feel like it was just the Super Bowl, and now what? Tomorrow starts the last week of February. I feel like this is, even though it's the shortest month, it goes by, at least to me, it's the shortest month, but to me it goes by slow as well. But for some reason, this time the year around, this month went by so fast. I think it's because we're kind of, around in the same area. We're always at home, or we're in one spot for some time. So it feels like time is standing still. And sometimes I don't really remember what day it is until I have something to do, whether it be the podcast or whether it be a Bible study, whether I'm doing something or running around, because all the days, mesh up. So just for another PSA, in case you guys are just tuning in, I do these lives. I do my podcast, Pure Sessions, with Lana, every Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Now, last week I did a little earlier, like around 4, because, it was obviously Valentine's Day. And, if you had plans, I didn't want to, like, interrupt your plans with my bickering, so I made it earlier. And then the week before that, it was Super Bowl, so I did it around like 3, 4 o'clock. But um, continuously, it is at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time as well, too, every Sunday. And I kind of make it like 30 to like 50 minutes, depending on what I'm talking about. Like in the beginning, when I was starting out doing podcasts, and I'm still learning, we're learning every day. I kind of was doing like 20 minutes because it's just me. And I can talk on and on and on, but I didn't, after a while, you're just rambling and kind of loses its juice, because I was still trying to figure out, what my niche was. I'm still figuring it out. But so they would be really short, like 19 minutes, 20 minutes. But now, since I kind of have like some thoughts and things that I want to discuss more, so they're like 30, 40 minutes. And last week's episode was like almost an hour and a half, because it was an in-depth episode. And then the episode I had with relationships and all that, that was like an hour and a half. But usually you'll have me to listen to me ramble for about like 45, 50 minutes. I try to keep it at that minimum, because if you're like me, when I'm listening to a podcast and you listen to somebody speak, I kind of start to tune them out after 30 minutes. It really depends on what we're talking about. I'm not trying to say it to be mean. It's just after a while, if you just have this, like, you're just listening to one person talk for a period of time, you might tune them out. Not on purpose, but it's human nature. But yes, if you're noticing, I do have my reflective glasses on, so that's why I'm like squinting through them. I'm trying to try out these new glasses. Still can't see through them, but trying something different. So I'm like squinting, that's why. Um, But yeah, so it's every Sunday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for sessions live on IG and YouTube, and as well as my project came out last week on the 14th on Valentine's Day, of course. As well, if you guys don't know, I'm also a DJ and a music producer as well as a podcaster, a potter, whatever you want to call it. I still don't know what the word is, but so I had a big debut last Sunday of my new album, Experience Misinterpreters, and honestly, the feedback that I'm getting from it's actually been really good. I was kind of skeptical to, well, A, bring out this type of album because it was something totally different than what I've done in the past with my music. I mean, I'm trying to venture, you shouldn't put yourself in one box, so I'm trying to venture out. And since this genre was kind of my favorite genre, which is like chill hop, lounge, lo-fi, jazz, trill, trippy hop music, it's kind of different for me. So I was a little skeptical on that. That was number one. Number two, on Valentine's Day. Because no knock against other artists, no knock against people who do this or like real artists or whatever you can call yourself. But I never been one to put out an album on like Valentine's Day or put out an album, on Christmas. I'm just not that kind of person because everybody thinks it's like a underlying meaning to why you picked this day. And people were asking me, and honestly, it just kind of fell on that day because the vibe of the album, and it is like 28 songs, so it's a little long. I kind of wanted to make it a little different because I listen to a lot of different genres and different music and different artists. And in that genre of chill hop, if you listen to it, if you decide within just one word, chill hop, trippy hop, or lo-fi chill. They certain albums, certain tracks, they have about like 15 to 20 songs, and that's the longest I've done, 28 songs. I think one of the album I had maybe was 12 songs. And normally I do EPs. I don't do a lot of tracks because after a while it's like, okay. But I figured this would be a great album, but yet, to have like in the background, you're having a little party indoors and safe with socially distanced, of course, but you're having like a little party and you have this music in the background, or having dinner, or you're just unwinding. It's like it's that kind of vibe. It's kind of like not like music that you have in the forefront of the conversation or the forefront of the topic, but it's more so like background music. Sipping your wine, reading your book. It's instrumental, no lyrics, and it's kind of like that unwind, you know, after hours special Sunday evening vibe. If that makes sense. So you can listen to it. I mean, that's just what I was trying to portray with the album. But you can listen to it, and it's available in my bio on Instagram at Lana Pure's Corner. Um, and it's on YouTube and Spotify and Apple. And it's titled Experience Misinterpreters. And the reason why I titled that, and I mentioned this last week, it was for people who are kind of like different, kind of outcasts, kind of misfits, kind of who don't fit that box of social media. So, there is like a meaning to the title, but not a meaning to the day of it coming out. I just wanted to make that clear. Nothing wrong with having it on that day, but you know, that was just my 2 cents. So yeah, you can find that. So you can find that on the website. I also have a website too. If you listen to my podcast periodically or even weekly, they may like what they hear, and um, if they don't know where to find you, um, like if they don't know where to find you, then how can they find you? If you're just talking about, music or dancing or lyrics or whatever, how are they gonna find you? So I try, and it's not me trying to up because people think I'm just always trying to boost myself up or be that kind of artist. But no, it's just I want to give everybody the opportunity to find me if they want to, whether it's with my music, whether it's with the podcast, because I try to, I guess, stay in the conversation of underground artists as much as I can, but I do different things. I do things differently than everybody else, so I may not be, dropping albums every 5 seconds or having a showcase every 5 seconds, but I try to do my little 2 cents. And again, I'm learning, every day I'm learning when it comes to the podcast because, I'm doing these things all by myself, as you can see in my room. I have my phone and my laptop, and I have my headphones and the microphone, so it's on me. So I'm still learning. I may have a couple of hiccups, but I'm still learning. So that's why, in case you're wondering, I always repeat the same, I guess, intro every week, just so you know, and I say the same thing at the end. So that's just that. And for those who listen later, I'll recap as well too. Now, excuse me, I talked for like 10 minutes. Excuse me. One more thing. I mentioned this, I believe it was last week or the week before that. One of my sister girls in my Bible study, Girls Who Talk Bible Study, she has her own merchandise website with masks, hoodies, and sweatshirts. And I'll put the link in the website in the description. But I picked this up, but she makes these, and it's His grace for me, 2 Corinthians 5:17, which is my second favorite Bible verse. And I wanted to support her, support local small businesses. So definitely check her out. These, I believe, are 2-ply. I don't think they're 4-ply, so I wouldn't recommend. I wouldn't um, wear this by itself. I would recommend wearing it over the blue masks or the N95 mask, or even if you're just around the house or doing local things, which you have to get out the car for. I wouldn't recommend wearing this by itself, but this is it. And it's very, breathable. I have lipstick on, so I just don't want to mess it up, but I can just show you so you can see it. And it has a Bible verse on it. And they all have a Bible verse on there, different things. So, like this. But yes, I wore it today. So, in case you're watching, Little Girl, I am supporting your business. And as well as, and I always mention this every week too, because I read it every day, The Daily Dose, 365 Days to a Healthy Soul by Lana. And it's very good. It's about 365 days of different Bible verses, her walks, her journeys, and she gives her 2 cents on, different topics, how you can get closer to God and her experiences. Um, and each day has a different Bible verse as well too that discusses what the topic is. So I recommend reading this. If you want to just center yourself, I read this every morning when I wake up before I start my day. It's not just on Sundays, but every day. So if you want to I recommend if you want to like regroup and reflect and start your day, properly, I guess as they say, I would recommend reading that. Now, since I talked even more than I thought. So today's topics, episode 23, can't believe it. If you guys are just tuning in to part 2 of 2021 of Lana's career sessions. Before it was just Lana's podcast. And before I was reading my book, which I have, which is in my website as well too. So it's titled Tajiri, Conversation of the Truth. And that was the truth they taught you in your history class. Look it up on Amazon. It's a good read. I was just strictly reading a chapter a week in that podcast, but I wanted to do something different with this. I guess part 2, 2021 podcast. So I wanted to make them live, so be a little more personal. It's for me personally. I think if you're just hearing somebody just reading something over and over again, depending on the topic, I think it's a little bit more, personal. If they can see your reaction to things and they can, see you and you can interact with them, stuff like that. So I do these live. So it's episode 23, exciting. And this is titled Trust Your Instincts. So last week's was Valentine's Day special. And this week is Trust Your Instincts. And that can mean, a lot of different things. I mean, it's not just, how your parents say trust your gut, or, if it doesn't feel right the first time, it's not right. But trusting your instincts can really mean a lot of different things, whether it's dealing with a job, may not feel right, dealing with, friends, if they act a certain way, or if something's off about them. And most importantly, or not most importantly, the most main one we hear parents say about is, relationships, going on dates, if the person doesn't seem, as the mom always says, right in the head, then they aren't. But a lot of times I know I've been at fault for this. We don't, we don't want to trust our instincts. We don't want to trust that first, gut feeling that we have in our stomachs, because we're like, oh, it's just our parents saying this in our head, or, they don't know what they're talking about. I'm grown, I can do what I want, blah, blah, blah. But 9 times out of 10, it ends up either them being right, or something's off about them. They always say, in my experience, I always say, you can learn a lot about somebody in the first 5 minutes when you meet them. That really tells me all I need to know about you in the first 5 minutes. Whether you're drunk, sober, whatever, high, not high, I can learn everything I need to know about you in the first 5 minutes, because that's the first encounter that you have. I have one of my mom's friends. I met her, I think, like 5 years ago, and that was my first time meeting her. Like, I've heard of her, and she's mentioned her been friends, all my life, but that was my first time meeting her because she lives, on the West Coast. And the first time I met her, she was the best way to put it, she was kind of standoffish, put off, kind of like sedity. And that kind of stuck with me till this day. And my mom's always saying, oh, she's really nice. You get to know her. That's just how she is. She knows she's a very lovely person, blah, blah, blah. But I'm like, no, the only thing I can remember was how she reacted when I first met her for those first 5 minutes. And then everything else after that day, after that, we had, I think, had brunch. I don't remember. And it's things like that I guess nug and tug and pull on our strings, because people who, when you first meet somebody that you never met, that is their first time to, I guess, impress you. Or that is their first time to show you what they're made of in a way. And I think if you are acting one way for the very first time that I meet you to a stranger, then that's really how you are. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, by that I mean, if if I meet somebody, friend, boyfriend, girlfriend, cousin, whatever, sister, teacher, whatever, boss, and this is how you are towards me as a person you just met, my instincts would be to either A, keep my guard up, or B, try to figure out more, because people say they know somebody, but like I mentioned, I believe it was last week or maybe 2 weeks ago, that you don't really know somebody that quickly. It takes time. You can know somebody for 10 years and then they do something tomorrow and you say, well, I feel like I've never met you. I feel like I've never known you. It takes a while to really get to know somebody to say that, oh, I know them inside and out. If that's that phrase or that saying, I know you better than anybody else. It takes time to do that. And for me, and I've always ignored my instincts, whatever it is, I always come around later. And I always say this, even in my podcast, or even just in my daily days, I always say, it may have taken me a little while to come around, but I got there. So I'm always one to, I guess, come late to the party. Everybody's saying that this person's wrong, or they're not good for you, or they're bad, or they have bad intentions. But I'm like, oh no, y'all just saying stuff, y'all just hating, y'all don't know anything. But at the same time, if 5 people are saying the same thing, different people in different areas of their life are saying the same thing by the same person, maybe they have something on them. Maybe what they're saying is true. We may not want to hear it. And I'm very stubborn. I can admit that. Very and very hard headed. So when people, and I guess it's human nature. When people tell you things that you don't want to hear, when it has to do with somebody that you care about, or that you get upset that they don't see, the person in the way that you see them, right? Like if it's like a boyfriend or something, and the girlfriend of yours is saying, oh, he's not right for you. He, treats you poorly, or he's not right for you. He's inconsiderate. You're like, oh no, he's fine. That's just how he is. He's tired, and you start making excuses for the person because you don't understand. At least my experience, you don't understand why they don't see this person in the way that you see them. Like, why can't they just look at them the way you see them? And you get frustrated. And my mom always said, and I think it's true, when it comes to dating, boyfriend, fiance, whatever. She always just say, watch how the man treats his mother, then you'll know how he'll treat you, and so on and so forth. So that always stuck with me since I was like maybe 17. I've always thought that in the back of my head. And of course, when you're like 16, 17, you're just dating knuckleheads anyway. And you still date knuckleheads when you get older. But I always, everything she said, that I've always watched how the person treats their mom. Whether that, and by that meaning, in my experience, I've seen some men treat their mom by yelling, screaming, cursing at them, talking to them as an equal, versus a mother and son dynamic. And I've seen some sons talk to their mom with respect and love and honesty and blah blah blah. And there's some who don't even talk to their mom, because I believe that she said that probably to not have a date, but also to be aware of, if this is how they treat their mom, just look how they can treat you. You're just a girl. If they can treat their mom with such little disrespect, then this is how they can treat you. And oh, a side note, I mentioned this last week too, with Anchor, because like I said, some episodes go a little bit longer than the 30 minutes, and on Anchor, you're only allowed to, it only allows you to record for up to 30 minutes. So I always have to stop it and then restart it. Because last time, it was like right at the 29.58 seconds, I had to like cut it off real quick. So if it's like silence for like 2 seconds, that's why. So, but yeah, so I've always thought that if, and you know, I mean, you don't have to have somebody tell you, you don't have to have your parents tell you, you don't have to have friends tell you, you know, if you have this nagging feeling, whether it's in the back of your head, or whether it's in your stomach, or you just feel a little off when you're around this person, you know that there's something amiss because you get that same what is it, uneasy feeling every time you're around this person, or every time this person's name comes up, or what have you. You just know. You may want to ignore it because we don't want to give up what we have for the time being, because we think, whatever age we are, doesn't matter if you're 17 or 27, we think that this is everything, but this is mine and I want to cherish it. And I'm so happy this person actually, wants to be around me, or I'm so happy that, this job actually called me back, or, I'm so happy that we're getting along with friends, but, she treats everybody else poorly, or this job has low pay, or, he's disrespectful to his family. We're just so happy to have that thing, for the moment that we're kind of, I guess, oblivious to everything else that's going on around us, when mostly they're just trying to help you out. And mostly there's always a better job. There's always a better job out there for you. And mostly there's always another guy out there for you. Um, because we can't see, we don't, or not we can't see, we don't really want to look past what's right in front of us. Because, well, what's wrong with what we have now? It's here. It's continuing. I can see it. I can feel it. I can, reach out and it's still there. Why would I, throw this to the wayside because you see a fault in him that I don't? And, that really goes into different aspects, whether you're like with the person, you really care about the person, or whether you feel like, oh, I finally got this one job and hold on to it. It may suck and the drive's long and the pay's bad, but it's something. But 9 times out of 10, when our instincts, wherever it's coming from, whether it's family, whether it's a nagging feeling in your stomach or the back of your head, or whether it's just like you just know that it's not good for you, our instincts or our conscience, or whatever you want to call it, we don't want to deal with it because then it becomes reality that this is one more thing that's going to be either A, taken from me, or bad for me, and then I got to start over again. That's really the main thing from what I've gathered, I guess, in my life experience, why we don't want to trust our first instinct, that first gut, because then it's like a restart. Because if you get rid of this thing, or you let go of this thing, whatever it is, job, family, friends, boyfriend, husband, girlfriend, cousin, whatever, then you're going to have to restart all over again. Same thing with dating. You with somebody for like 6 months and they're bad and y'all been arguing since day one, but you're just happy to be with some person, you just want to deal with it. But at the same time, there shouldn't be that much arguing in 6 months. But you can have little disagreements, little arguments, but that should be the phase of you know, you getting to know the person. Still, that's the cupcake phase. You shouldn't be, if you're arguing that much in the beginning. Lord knows that's going to go down the end. So once you're arguing, in your gut that this is not going to work. This is going to work. But for the time being, I'm going to hold on to this because this is tangible. This is something I can see. This is something that I know is there if I need it to be. Now, at the same time, you can be having stomach pains and having a headache, and every time you're around this person, you're going to feel this way. But for the time being, you're just going to let it rock. And we've all been at fault for that because we don't want to have to start over. Because when you have to start over, then you have to do the checking, you have to do the asking and talking, and then it's just a whole cycle of things. It's like the same thing when you break up. You do the dating apps. You gotta start all over again. And then it becomes tedious because you're like, well, it's just like, who wants to start all over again in the beginning phase or the intro phase? And a lot of times we don't trust our instincts. Again, it's not just with relationships, but when we don't trust our instincts, sometimes we kind of bury down, push down what we want to say or the thoughts that we have, and then at later dates it comes out in rage or it comes out in yelling or nagging, or it comes out or it gets lashed out onto the next person or the next thing, and they didn't do anything because you were pressing all that you had with the old person or the old thing, that it's all spewing out now to the next person, to the next thing. And then it's like a cycle, it's a cycle, some never ending cycle. If you don't deal with it head on or with the first thing, and it becomes a continuous thing, then you're just that's how you'll always deal with whatever that topic is. That's just the way to do it. It's unhealthy to suppress things, to hold things in because you know it's wrong. Like you just know it's a feeling, like mother's intuition. You just know because again, like I said earlier, you don't need 5 different people telling you the same thing. You know because you're an adult, you're thinking, you're mature, you're old enough, you're wise, you have a brain, and you know that hey, I know this isn't right, but I'm just going to excuse me, going to write it out. But at the same time, we're older now in our generation, the millennials, as you want to call it. I mean, a lot of times I've heard people say, they don't have time for games, or I've even heard my brother say, they just don't even have the time anymore, like the mental capacity, because it takes a lot of energy and mentalness to deal with people, deal with jobs, deal with things. And after a while, you just get to a point, I guess, in your life, and whether it's something you're just like, you don't even want to deal with it anymore. But at the same time, trusting your instincts and acting on that first, I guess, impulse to either do something or not do something is always the right way to go. Because, like I said, if you don't, going down the line, that's how you'll always handle things in an unnecessary and damaging way. Because it is damaging after a while. You may not think about it at the time. You're not seeing anything, but after a while, it is a damage. You're damaging it. Does that make sense? Because for me, when I don't trust my instincts, 9 times out of 10, even growing up, I had to deal with, dating somebody, being friends with somebody, I would always ignore the signs when I would see, because, see that the person kind of maybe wasn't right or kind of looked at things differently. Because for me, growing up, and even so now, sometimes I think, in a way, it's harder to meet people now, not even because of COVID, but just as you get older, it's a little bit harder because everybody thinks too much into something, right? Like you can be just saying hi to a person, and the other person thinks you have like a secret motive or a secret agenda to why you're saying hi. It's different when you were like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You can just walk up to the person, the little kid on the playground, be like, "Hi, my name is Sally. Let's be friends." And like, okay. I guarantee if you did that now, people look at you like crazy. Like, what? I don't know. You get away from me. So it's just like now, it's so much more. People think so much more than what is that you can't just be yourself, if that makes sense. Like, I'm always an advocate of human contact and phone calls and calling and FaceTiming versus just texting and just being robots being on a computer. But nowadays, people, before COVID, people think you were crazy if you just walked up to somebody on the street and said, "Hi, my name is John. Let's be best friends." They'd be like, "I don't know you. Get away from me," because that all came from society. That all came from the news. That all came from watching things, how people react to things. Because people, like I said, always think there's more to than what is. Like you can literally just be reaching out a hand to somebody and they think, "Well, why are you doing that? What's your goal? What's your angle? Why are you being so nice? What's your secret? Do I know you, girl? You mind?" It's just there's so many underlining things, and people look so deep into something that should be just a regular thing that they can't seem to get past the, oh, he or she is just being nice, or he or she is just trying to have, a helping hand versus why are they doing that? What do they really want? Who are they? Are they watching me? It's just so much. And I don't know where that came from. Maybe it's social media, and I know there was a time where social media wasn't so much like, like in your face, like it is now 24/7. But nowadays, you just don't know what to do. You don't know what to say. You don't know what to type. You don't know what to tweet. You don't know what to retweet. You don't know what to like. You don't know what cause to fight for. What causes not to. It's just so much. I just don't get it. But I'm looking at my anchor time. It is 29 minutes and 40 seconds. So in a minute, I'm going to stop it and then we started again, so it'll be silent for like 2 seconds. So just bear with me. I know I usually, like I said before, didn't like doing it so long, but I do have a lot to say, so I'm about to stop it right now. I hope everybody's having a great Sunday so far. I know that dark and cold. Okay, we're back. But yeah, so I hope everybody's having, and I'm just repeating myself because the thing just came on, but I hope everybody's having a nice Sunday so far. I know it's all dark and cold, but I think, March 14th? time goes fast or forward, whatever. I don't know. So lighter. So yeah. But one thing I will say about doing these podcasts alone, doing virtual and doing a lot by yourself is it's only you talking. So I could be talking for like 30, 40 minutes and my mouth gets so dry and then I have to like stop for a second, have coffee or tea or water. And then it's like a weird gulping sound on the microphone feedback. I'm like, ew. But yeah, so that's the thing. I mean, I usually when I mentioned this also, when I do these topics, I don't really like to have like an agenda when I'm talking. Like Valentine's Day, obviously, there's a lot to say about that, and then the relationships episode, there's a lot to say about that. But in the beginning, I didn't really have an agenda of what I was going to talk about because it's usually just things that are on my heart that I'm thinking about that I've dealt with. So I'm just sharing, my experiences with you guys. I don't have like a 10-point plan on what to say because I feel like it doesn't flow, organically. It's kind of just like whatever I talk about, I kind of flow on something else, or the conversation trails off to something else. So I just feel like for me, I know people operate differently. If they have, whether they have guests or they have people or they're by themselves, they kind of like have like something to talk about, and I do. At the same time, it's just not like, here's what it is. So I'm talking about this, that, this, that. I'm just like, wherever the conversation goes. Like I said, I sometimes lose my train of thought and I kind of talk about something else and I find my way back to what I was originally talking about. But I just feel like that's just how I operate. And again, after a while, when it's just you, you're kind of just like, okay, let me regroup, let me rethink and stuff over. That's why I try to, I guess in a way, have topics to discuss that's kind of like a neutral topic at hand, like trust your instincts, or when I had relationships, or when I had before, being being okay with being alone. It's just like a generic conversation, so it doesn't seem like extraneous. It doesn't seem like you're giving false facts. It doesn't seem like you're just trying to have a conversation. Because again, it's just me or whoever you're listening to, they're just by themselves. It's just them. So I tend to pick topics or things that's been on my mind, or experiences that I've dealt with that kind of come off more naturally than organically, if that makes sense. I mean, naturally, come off naturally than like forced. I don't know if that makes sense. So if I kind of stop talking about the the title, don't fault me. Like again, I'm still learning again on how to do the podcast, do all the stuff, do the streaming, do the recording, do the editing, and as well as do the public speaking. Like I mentioned before, I'm terribly shy, terribly shy. That's why I'm always looking not directly at the camera the whole time, but I'm moving back and forth. Again, I have two cameras on Instagram and my computer, but I'm terribly shy and I'm not really a great public speaker. I don't know. I've just never been growing up in school. I would always have my head down, whether I memorized the project or not. I would always speak very slow, just talk like this and I still do. Like it takes me a very long time to, I guess, open up or speak up. I'm not very really a loud speaker, like not like screaming and yelling, but there are people who like can project themselves, whether you're just talking to them right in front of you or they're like down the hall. But I'm not like that person. Like I'm kind of more of like an introvert. And oh, that's actually a good topic to talk about extroverts versus introverts. That might be a good topic to write that down. But I'm more so of an introvert. So I'm more of like a people watcher. I kind of like observe the room, and then when I feel comfortable, I'm like, okay, maybe I can say my piece now. And it's lot of that growing up too, especially when I was in college, and I would like have a friend. You're going to like a party or an event. I would like wait till that person would get here. I'd be on my phone the whole time, looking down, not talking to anybody, and wait till they got there, and then like I come alive because you're with somebody who's comfortable. Who makes you comfortable, who you feel safe with. I guess that's always been the thing. I don't know. And that's another thing too. Would when I was out of college and you get older and life happens and blah blah blah, I didn't go out as much because, like I said before, I always had trouble, at the A, making friends, but B, keeping friends, like core friends, not just like people you just know, but like actual like ride or die, long ride friends, stuff like that. I mean, it was a little bit difficult for me to have that. So I never really went out that much. So I'm not really like a person to just like go out and just like be the life of the party. I'm more so I would like bring my book to dinner and just sit and read, like that kind of person. And I mentioned that last week. That's what I would do on some Valentine's Day when I didn't have a date. I would just go out myself. And, I mean, like, why am I going to stay at home? I can just go out myself. I don't need to be, sitting across from I can read my book. But even now, I'm not really a person to just be like, hey, I'm gonna go do this by myself and see you later. I'm like, no, be on my phone and just, let me be. It's just I'm learning to, I guess, come out of the shell a little bit, essentially. Come out of, I guess, my comfort zone. And my comfort zone is normally just balling up and being like this. I guess that's the introvert shyness of me. But I'm trying to learn to, I guess, step out of that because I know a lot of people have a lot of friends who are extroverts who are more outspoken and more outgoing or more the people who kind of like ones to stick their hand out first and say hi, and I'm like kind of like the one behind the crowd, behind the cloud, behind the crowd, there we go, and be like, I'll sit back here, I'll see you later. So I'm learning. So even with this, even though I'm home and even though it's just me, it is still a little, I guess, nervous, especially when I have people who come on to the lives, who come on to the podcast. I'm just like, but okay. So I'm learning. I mean, I think going forward, I'm gonna try to do have some guests, obviously virtually, but try to have some guests. But I'm just like, I guess I'm not there yet. And the other thing is, I've noticed too, since I do my podcasts on Sunday evening, it's not as busy as it was when I was doing my live DJ sets on Fridays. Because Friday's the weekend starting. Sunday's kind of more of like a church day, home with the family, winding down, getting ready for the week type of vibe. And that's kind of what I was looking for when I first started doing the podcast. Because and I mentioned this way from the beginning, I don't really like to do, I guess, work essentially on Sunday because I feel like that's more so like a rest day. Like even back when I was working in retail before COVID, um, and before I was working in retail before COVID and working at like years ago at like supermarket, I would always request off on Sundays because I feel like you shouldn't have to work on Sundays. I don't want to work on Sundays because one, I have a church, and two, that's my big weekday. And back when I was working in retail, right before COVID, they would have me working on Saturdays and Sundays because retail you have to work one day or both days of the weekend because that's the busiest time. But I would always say, I'm sorry, I have to do the earliest shift. I have to leave on Sunday. I can't stay here all day. So I would do like a 2-6 shift versus like a 10-6 because I would have church in the morning. And every job I was at, they understood that obviously. I mean, I'm not like heavy religious, but I would, take my church and take my praying and take my, time with God seriously. So they would understand that. So for me, it took me a minute to figure out what day, I wanted to do the podcast on. I felt like Sunday was a great day because, like I said, you're unwinding, you're ending the week, it's relaxing. I do it at 6 because, it's early enough right after church. It's not in the middle of the day. It's not too late in the evening. You're kind of still like getting the kids ready for bed or getting the kids ready, dinner, or playing games, stuff like that. So when you listen to these podcasts, I try to make it like, a nice little vibe for y'all to rock out to. Again, everything background noise, everything, back in the background. You can listen to it as you're cooking dinner, listen to it as you're like doing laundry or playing games or even sipping wine. That's what I'm trying to make or have the vibe of kind of like a chill with pure sessions, kind of like relaxing, unwind, tranquil vibe. So for me, I'm just like, maybe I can get this across. Maybe they'll get what I'm trying to get at, without actually saying it. And I mentioned in the beginning last year, and this is like my second time mentioning it, but that's the vibe I'm trying to go with because I want it to be kind of more of like a homey space, kind of relaxing, reflective vibe, kind of not just like well, here's my podcast and, here's what I have to say and, you have to listen to me, blah, blah, blah. No, it's more so just, this is how my week was. How was your week? This is what's on my mind, what's on your mind, what are your thoughts, what are your suggestions, what are your experiences, kind of thing. It's kind of like a give and take, patty cake kind of flow, if that makes sense. So I try to do that. And again, I know it's just me, but I try to make it as, I guess, as homey, or as relaxing as I can. Because, who you want to, feel like not like you're listening to like a lesson or listening to like history, but more so just like listening to the vibes of what you're also have experienced in your life before. Like the topic, like I said earlier, that's why I picked the topics that I picked because it's kind of neutral. Everybody deals with these. Everybody has gone through this type of experience. So I hope hopefully that vibe has kind of come off. And again, it is Sunday and it's like the evening, starts your week and all that other stuff. So I always appreciate the viewers and the fans in a way of people who listen to this week after week. Because I see all y'all. So I do truly appreciate it because it's a hard, cold world out there for, I guess, A, starting off a business, A, starting off a brand, and B, doing it by yourself and trying to, grow and thrive in this crazy, crazy world, especially during the pandemic. If I had the clap effect, I would clap for y'all because y'all are really the folks out there. If it wasn't for y'all, I wouldn't be doing this. It really wouldn't because, like I said, I didn't really see myself as doing the public speaking. I didn't really see myself as doing the podcast. Nothing wrong with it. Just in the beginning, I just didn't know, I didn't know how to go about it. I didn't know what to do. I didn't think I had a lot to say or was worth being heard. So I just really appreciate the people who have helped me in the beginning, you know, who have, brought me here, who helped me along the way, gave me tips and pointers, how to promote, how to not promote, how to do it this way, how to showcase this, how to show that, how to do that, how to have what topic. Because everything's business at the end of the day. It's always to treat. Ooh, hold on. Ooh, let me calm down. I'm talking way too fast. I can't even talk because it's always a strategic planning when it comes to marketing and branding and stuff. There we go. Because it is your business. It is your business. My podcast, my music. It is your own baby. You want to promote it and showcase it in the right way. And I always gotta shout out Jersey Media and Joe and they're without agree because without them, I wouldn't really be doing this. They are the ones who really made me want to start this because he has his own podcast and he would do, his home had equipment and had his guests and had his peoples with him. But the topics would be so, genuine. The topics would be so interesting, so, neutral and universal. I'm like, oh, I want to do that. This is cool. I can try that. It's like your own little, like, like I guess, stage, own little platform for you to voice your opinions and for people to listen to you when you have something to say. And I was on one of his episodes a while back. And also, I got to shout out Reflection with Val, too. I was on her episodes in the beginning. Shout out to you, Val. She's another podcaster. I promise you, I'm going to get this word. I don't know what the word is yet. I don't know what the terminology is. It's a podcaster, podster. I don't know. Hey. And I was on hers in the beginning, and it was kind of more hers with a reflective vibe, chill out, kind of jazzy vibe, throwback kind of 90s theme, not 90s theme, but kind of like a reflective space for you to just be yourself and then just to let the words pour and flow out of you. And when I was in hers, I'm like, this is kind of cool. This is pretty cool. And I mostly respected her as well, too, because I was on hers, like kind of like in the beginning of the podcast, the beginning of the pandemic. So we were able to do it virtually, which I really appreciate because a lot of people, they want to do it in person. So I really appreciate that. And being on both their podcasts and being on both their platforms about Reflection to Valve and Therapy Without Agree and Jersey Media made me think like, hey, I can do this. These are other artists and other talented individuals just like me. I can do that. I mean, you always start somewhere. Especially when I was starting out my music, because back then, last year, essentially, I was more so just strictly focused on my music, just strictly focused on the DJing thing and working with controllers and dropping albums and blah, blah, blah. So that's kind of like all my focus is on. And I never thought that I could like venture out into doing, something that was out of the normal, something that was out of, my comfort zone. Because again, this is all, talking, this is all public speaking. So I really appreciate, the ones who helped along the way, even though if they didn't know they helped along the way. Like I said before, I was on their podcast and shows. I never thought to do podcasts. Like I would listen to them obviously and get inspiration, but I would never thought. So I do want to say shout out to y'all because y'all are really the reason why, um, I'm doing what I'm doing. And more so, what's the word? branching out and expanding um, what I used to be doing, which was just focusing on music. And now I'm using the music and using the podcast as a bigger and broader platform to branch out to different venues and different areas and networking stuff like that. So I don't have a clapping um, drop, but maybe I could find one because that deserves a clap. So bear with me. Because I feel like people who have done stuff for you really deserve the credit. I think, where it's due because, without them, whether they do it to help you intentionally, whether they do it without knowing, whether they do it by giving you a word of advice or words of encouragement or ways to do it, I think it should definitely be um, appreciated because, they didn't have to, whether they know it or not. I feel like everybody should be appreciated in a way if they help you in some sort of way because, they didn't have to do it. They're just doing it out of the kindness of their heart or, trying to, um, pass it on. So, yeah, so let me see if I can find this little clapping. Not too loud, so excuse me. Let's see if I can do it. No, no, that's an ad. Sorry about that. On Instagram, we can't hear it, but everybody else can hear it on my Anchor and YouTube. If it works, it may not work. Oh no, it's just ads. Okay. Well, the ads don't want to work. All right, you guys. All right. There we go. Okay, there we go. Clap for y'all. Clap to shout out to Reflections with Val and Dance Without a Degree and Jersey Media and everybody who really, just kind of helped and shout out to the fans and listeners who listen every day. I just wanted to give a little clap and give a little shout out to y'all. So thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So yeah, I know it's kind of cheesy, but I need to get those clapping drops, but I don't really have it. But yeah, so I always try to give credit where it's due. I may not show it in the way I'm, still trying to work on it, but I do feel that people deserve, you know, to get acknowledged for what they're doing because they don't have to. I try to listen. I try to watch people who've been doing what I'm doing longer than how I've been doing it. Whether it's podcasters or music or authors or DJs or producers or engineers. Because they've been doing it a little longer than I have. So I try to watch and I said people watch and try to absorb, all that you can. That's the whole beauty about learning every day and growing every day in this business because you're just absorbing and getting fed all the knowledge and all the eccentricities and different ways that they do things. So it's always good to not just stay, in your own box or in your own lane in a way, but also to look at different venues, look at different people, look at different websites and things and how they do things. Everybody does whatever their talent is differently, and you can always learn from them and like take little nuggets, not steal their craft or steal their mojo, but you can always, take little nuggets along the way with whether it's like how you drop in music or how you add a loop at the end of the song or how you do your podcast, whether you have like an intro track or you have an outro track or whether you do strictly 30 minutes and you just have guests or don't have guests. It really is kind of like a chess game when it comes to doing the artiste work, I think, because you're always learning, you can always take different nuggets and every day you do it more, you learn more than what you did the day before. So, I feel like it's always a good way to, I guess, keep your mind sharp. As they say, my mom says, keep your mind sharp, read a book. Like, I don't do it, but it's a way to keep, your mind sharp by learning different things. Same with, artists who sing. They're always using their instruments, which is their voice. They're always practicing, 2, 3 hours a day, taking different techniques and exercises. Same with the trumpet, the trumpet that I just bought. I'm learning on doing, exercises every day because it's a tool. It's a craft you're using, so it takes time. Same with the music, practicing every day. You get better at it. Whatever it is you're doing, you should, unless you're just straight out talented and just straight out blessed and gifted that you can just play anything at any time, at any moment without having like a lick of practice. But if you're just like me or everybody else, then practicing all day, every day really does not hurt. So I know that I kind of went like way left on this topic, but like I said, I kind of tend to ramble when I have stuff I want to say. And I always try to find a way to, get back to the topic, which was trust your instincts. But like I said, when I started doing the podcast, like I said, I wasn't sure if this was like a thing for me because, like I said, there's a thing for people, and then there's not a thing like this. Everybody can't do everything, right? You always have like I guess a talent, and you don't have talent. Everybody is talented somehow, some way, but then there are just some things that aren't for you, like me and the guitar that I still have over there that I haven't opened. There's just things that I can't do. There's just things that I should do. And I try. Like I can at least say that I try to do blah blah blah. Like I tried to do a couple of lives or a couple of videos earlier in the year last year where I was singing. And I was like, oh, let me not do that again. But at least I tried. Or when I did last year with my music, I tried to do a rap. It was it was not good, but I tried. I tried. I tried it. I said I tried. And I don't even remember what the track is called, but there was two tracks. There was a track that I was doing rapping on it, and then there was another track that was just the rap itself, like instrumental. Like a lot of my music is like 80% of the music is instrumental. I'm just now starting to have excuse me, different artists and different vocals on it, but most of it is instrumental. I feel like it's really better that way to hear my music, the kind of genre that I do. Like I said, it's kind of more like a soundtrack, chill, housey dance vibe versus like a song that needs vocals, if that makes sense. So I think it was called The Takeover. I think. I think that was a track. I don't even know what it's called, but I did last year. And the title, the album cover of it was my controller with the turntables. And it was called Takeover Rap. And it was called Takeover Instrumental. It sounded, in my head, I thought it sounded good. I don't know if I couldn't like find the beat because I'm always on beat. I always have rhythm. We all have rhythm, but some of us. But I don't know if I couldn't like find the beat to rap or I just was trying so hard because I kid you not, it literally took me like 20 minutes to stop laughing every time I tried to record to rap this song. Like and I said after I did the track to one of my friends, I'm like, I don't think I could be a rapper because I think I would laugh too much. Like rappers are so serious, I couldn't do it. So, but I tried. So that song is out there. I wouldn't recommend listening to it, but if you want to laugh, go ahead. But yeah, so I tried that. And then I tried another track to sing on it. And I guess in my head, as we all do, we think we sound so good. But then when we do the playback, it's like a whole nother spiel. But I can say that in 2020, I tried to rap and I tried to sing. So, yeah, how about that? Not saying that I wouldn't do it again. I think you should always try new things. You should always try um, doing things outside the box, outside the comfort zone. I really do. But I mean, the best feedback that you can ever get outside of your family is your friend, and it's on social media. So that was another reason why I did one song, one rap song, and one sing song because I wanted to see what the feedback would be with this song, with this track. And of course, I made the beat. It wasn't like a raw hip hop rap West Coast song, but and I literally sat down like 3 days before it, and I literally wrote out these lyrics. I think it was like two verses and a chorus, maybe like that. It was like a 2 minute song. Oh, thank you. It was like a 2 minute song, and I literally just um, wrote out the tracks, and I could show you some on my phone, but it was just a bunch of it was just a bunch of gibberish. I don't even think I have it anymore. Um, on my laptop. Y'all can look at it. I'm not even gonna play it, but yeah, I think it's called the Takeover or Takeover, and you can find it on Apple. I actually did. I actually did post it and SoundCloud and everything. It's called Takeover, But yeah, so I could say I tried new things in 2020. Like I wouldn't say like that's my thing. Like I'm gonna do that again. But if I was like rapping underneath somebody else, then sure. But if it's just me rapping by myself, I don't know. But with the singing, like people have told me because I've been singing since I was like in the sixth grade, hold up, fifth grade. I was doing org and I was doing choir at school and at church stuff like that. So I've been singing since I was like in the sixth grade, fifth, sixth grade. But like I kind of know that I can sing. Not like I'm a great singer, but I kind of know that I can sing. But I know that I wouldn't I wouldn't like go out of my way to be like, hey, let me sing on your track. I know how to sing. I wouldn't do it. But like I know your parents say, oh, of course you can sing. You're so great. But I've had other people say that I can like, hey, that I can kind of sing, but I wouldn't like recommend it. But I feel like I would do it again just to see, hey, let me try this new avenue. And like I said, you're learning, you practice, you do it every day. Let me try singing. But it's like I can't get past the part of me singing where other people could hear it outside of my family. If that's the thing. Like I could sing to like my friend or sing with my brother in a song or sing with my mom all day. But like once it gets past the part of these walls and it's on an album or it's on like a track, I'm like, I don't know. But that is something that I've been contemplating. I mean, I kind of have been practicing um, some vocal notes, stuff like that. Like I'm not like TikTok ready, but I have been trying. I don't know how to do it. But see, my thing is, like I said earlier, I'm very shy, and I get not okay. Maybe I'm not so much shy. I am shy, but to a point of like I guess afraid of rejection because like I guess I know I'm talented when it comes to certain things. Like there are things I know I'm like really good at, like um, playing music or drawing or doing my fashion. But when it's like other things like singing or playing like an instrument, I don't like the confidence is like it's like there, it's like in the bubble, it's like in space, but it's not like I know I can do this. I'm cool. But I feel like I mean you can always say never. There's nothing wrong with trying different things. Nothing wrong with wanting to get that feedback. Because now with everything with social media, everything is online. Everybody can see everybody. Everybody's talking about somebody. Everybody's in your business, and everything is out there in social media. So I guess the best way to really get like that feedback that you really want to hear, because you're essentially singing and rapping and doing all your stuff for the audience. So I guess the best way would be to portray it on social media. But it's like are you up for that rejection or are you up for the feedback? Because my thing is, it's taken me a long time to like handle criticism because I would never be when I was younger, not even younger, like last year, not really good at handling criticism well without being defensive or clapping back. So I've been trying lately to be more so like, okay, you're just giving me this feedback because either A, you care, or B, you care. And nine times out of ten, feedback, excuse me, that you don't want to hear is really coming from people who care about you, who want to see you succeed and not just, you know, have you out there looking. Um, but I guess I just haven't gotten comfortable enough yet to like I guess be vulnerable. If that makes sense. I don't know how we got to this topic, but anyway, I see the clock is running down. I'm not going to make this a three-part episode like I did last week, but yeah. So the title of this was "Stress Your Instincts." But I kind of went like all over the place, but I definitely appreciate you guys who listen and tune in and let me ramble for the last 30 minutes. But definitely tune back in next week for the podcast. It's every Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time at Lana and Pure's Corner. So I might go like another minute on here, but I'm going to end it on Anchor because it's about to end. But I'll be on here for like another minute on live on IG and YouTube. But Anchor just lets me do 30 minutes. I don't know why. But yes, I appreciate you guys joining, and I will see you guys next week. Stay safe and be blessed. Okay, so Anchor ended because just a butt and only wants to let me record for 30 minutes. And last week, 3 parts. All right, hold on. Let me see. Let's see. Hold on. Hold on. All right, so I clicked back on Anchor because I like to have everything sound the same on all different platforms. And I feel like I'm talking a little bit longer on these other 2 platforms. It doesn't flow right with me. So I kind of like everything to be the same. So, but yeah, so this topic's episode was trust your instincts, and I mentioned earlier it kind of comes with different venues, like whether it's with a relationship, whether it's a friendship, whether it's a job, whether it's with just your daily life. Like I said, you know when something is amiss, if you want to call it that. You know when something doesn't feel right. Like you don't need a bunch of people telling you that, hey, this is not the right thing. Hey, this person's bad for you. You just know, whether it's a nagging voice, um, whether it's a nagging voice in your head or a gut feeling in your stomach, your hands get clammy. Sometimes it's nervousness, but sometimes it is our instincts telling us that, hey, this might not be the right thing. So I always feel like it takes time to get past the level of comfortability that we kind of put ourselves in that bubble of, what you're saying is wrong. And I don't want to hear what you have to say. And I know what's best. But at the same time, we have to open up our minds and our hearts and try to listen to other people who either A, are older than us, B, who have dealt with the same thing, and C, who actually care about us. Because if a person didn't care about you, they let you fail. Person didn't care about you, they will let you not succeed. Person didn't care about your well-being, your mental health, stability, care, welfare, all that other stuff. They will just let you do what you do and just let you look crazy. But when we have people who are telling us these things that we don't want to hear for the well-being of ourselves, then those are the people that we need to keep in our corners. And those are people that we need to listen to because they kind of know what we're talking about. But at the same time, they just want to see you succeed in any way that they can, whether it's in a relationship, whether it's at a job, whether it's finding that house, finding that thing that you're looking for that's right for you, because there is something and someone for everybody. So don't be so quick, and I've been at fault for this, and I've tried to get better. It's not really working, but I've tried to be so quick to just clap back and push back on people who are actually just trying to look after you, because your instincts and the people who are in your corner, the actual people in your corner, not the people who are just there, when you're doing good, and not there when you're down on your luck. But the people who are really there, 24/7, or who are really there all the time, really just want you to be the best you can be. And that takes a lot of, I guess, not self awareness, but more so just understanding that there is more at force than just what is in front of us, if that makes sense. And a lot of times we don't want to hear it. And I know I don't, because like I said, we were very stubborn. But like I said, it really just all comes from love. They may do it different ways that annoy you, but it really does all come down to love, out of love, because you do want those kind of people in your life who annoy you, but also at the same time care about you. So I just wanted to say those 2 cents. And I know this one got a little bit longer than necessary. But like I said, I do appreciate and I have the clapping when you put it back on. Yeah, so I do appreciate everybody who has been there, everybody who listens to this weekly, everybody who subscribes, everybody who tunes in, everybody who streams these and tries to download these. And I see you guys. I do. I see all of y'all. So I feel grateful that you guys have given me this platform, this time to speak, my little 2 cents when I do. So I really do appreciate it. And definitely go tune in to my podcasts every Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And also definitely my new album, Experience and Misinterpreters, is out now on SoundCloud, Apple, Spotify, iTunes. And you can find the link in my bio and website as well too. But definitely appreciate you guys all every week. It's a struggle. These weeks, these days, these hours get so long, but we made it another week. It's going to be March soon, Women's Month. Woo! But yeah, so definitely appreciate you guys. Definitely tune in next Sunday. Um, I'm debating if I'm going to do my next episode next week a day earlier because I have something on Sunday. So we will see. So if you do see me up on here on Saturday or Friday, don't be alarmed. It's just for that one weekend. But yeah, so I definitely appreciate you guys for tuning in with me, staying with me on a Sunday evening. It's supposed to rain again tomorrow, but hopefully, hopefully, dear Lord, hopefully, dear God, no more snow because I can't deal with it. But yeah, so I appreciate you guys, and I hope you guys are having a great Sunday. I feel like it gets dark at 2 o'clock now, but that's just me. But I do appreciate you guys, and I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your Sunday. I don't know if what was I going to say? Yeah, I had a topic that I want to discuss next week, but I think I'm going to push that back because I have another topic that just popped in my head just now that I think will be accurate for ending Black History Month because it is still Black History Month. Didn't know. But yes, so next Sunday, excuse me, is the last Sunday of Black History Month. So I probably will have a nice little episode for that. So stay tuned for that. But yes, have a blessed Sunday. Every Sunday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I do have two pages. I do have Lana and Pure's Corner and Lana and Pure. Same page. One is a business page, and my other page is for my podcast and my music. But you can catch all the lives on Lana and Pure's Corner on IG Live. And all the previous episodes are in my story as well, too. But yes, blessings, yes, blessings. Blessings on blessings on blessings. But yes, so enjoy the rest of your guys' Sunday. And I will see you lovely souls next week and do something today that you didn't do the day before. And have a great Sunday, y'all.